This video is going to be a very quick one. I literally was just scrolling on TikTok and then I came by this video and I thought, you know what? I need to make a video on this. So without further ado, let's let the clip roll.
So this is a tough one to talk about. I don't see any way around it. And let me apologize in advance to those white men who I am acquainted with and respect and love. But you've got to speak what's true. Pedophilia, victimizing of people who you have power over. In this case, the victimizing of children who you have power over. Has anyone noticed that in every arena, it is rich white men who dominate the field?
Yes, we have. I mean, that was probably a rhetorical question, but I want to come in here quickly and say that we have. Black and brown people came to this understanding a very, very, very long time ago, not only because of what we had experienced at the hands of white men historically, but also what we are going through till this day. Some of us can't even escape white men and the horrors that they bring in our black and brown countries. They have their hands in our politics. They even cause and fund wars in our country. So yeah, we've always known that they are a problem.
We know Epstein, where it's so distressing that some of the richest men on the planet habitually sexually abused children. SA'd, I think I'm supposed to say, children. And they were tied together in secrecy, in keeping each other's secrets for decades. They were tied together financially. I think it was, if you deal with me financially and you become dependent or become intertwined, you're less likely to ever reveal anything about the things we've been doing in the dark.
I saw a comment that says, what unites the rich is their transgressions. And the comment is so simply put, but yet so powerful. So I thought I should highlight it in this moment right here because it's so spot on.
The same sort of ethic is true in churches, the Catholic Church, which for beyond decades, a century, kept the secrets of the white male priests who were essaying children. The same is true in small pastorates, small churches, where the pastor has a lot of power. Don't anybody say, oh yes, but it doesn't just have to do with that. I mean, a lot of women, still support these people. Sure they do. As long as women are in any way financially dependent on men, they're going to go along with almost anything, and that's just the truth.
Now, while this is true, and no, it would never justify their actions, not in my book at least, but there is another end to this spectrum though, and on that end, we see women who are financially independent facilitating and helping evil men get away with crimes, right? Look at, what's her name? Pearl Bondi, Abi, waiting me the with her name. Look at the things that she's been doing lately.
Mr. Jordan, am I going to get an extra 45 seconds added to my time?
The committee will be in order. The time belongs to the gentleman from Texas. Ms. Bondi, the Attorney General can respond.
Thank you. The Dow has shattered 50,000 for the first time. This is crazy. They said it couldn't be done in 4 years, yet President Trump has done it in 1 year. Americans' 401ks and retirement savings are booming. That's what we should be talking about.
Bondi didn't even turn around and acknowledge our existence. Like, we knew that this was going to be a hard day, but not to acknowledge like baseline humanity. There are survivors standing behind you. She was asked multiple times, can you just acknowledge them?
With all of the money, education, liberty she has, free will she has. What would we say now is her excuse and or reason for doing all of that? We have got to stop infantilizing women because they know what they are doing. These are adults we are talking about. I would even argue that even some of these women that were not financially independent historically, that went on to do these evil acts for men, they still would have done these same things even if these men were not in the picture. And history proves this. Specifically, right now, I'm thinking about the history of slavery because look at some of these women that were married to enslavers, right? It's documented that they were even more brutal than the men sometimes. And that is why you would find that even after some of them lost their enslaver husbands to maybe like an ailment or something, and they got to inherit all of his properties, they still went on doing this evil even when he was not in the picture to quote unquote make them do it. And this to me personally is proof that these women were never good women to begin with, because if they were, right, if they were only doing these things because they were dependent on these men, they don't have a choice, why then did they not start treating their slaves better? Why don't we have historical records of how so and so woman, after their husband died, they started talking about how they went to free their slaves? You would not find such records because these women were always disgusting human beings. They would have been and went on to be disgusting human beings regardless of whoever was present. This wasn't about the men. It isn't about the men. It's about these women. These women are terrible people. And that is why you always find them with terrible men, because you know what they say, birds of a feather flock together. So it is no coincidence that these things happen the way they do. They happen the way they do because it was orchestrated by these people very consciously. This is what they wanted to do. So no, these women were not victims. Yes, there are women that are victims. Well, some of them end up becoming perpetrators. So now I cannot even feel bad for you because you were an adult that made this informed decision. So we have to look into that.
The latest, and I saw this morning on TikTok, and it was so distressing. You know the whole latest thing about we're going to declare certain occupational fields as not professional fields. I heard that and I thought, well, that's the dumbest thing. That has no point. What is the point of that? Well, the first thing I looked at was that, well, if you look at the fields, and I wrote them down, it's like master's degree in education, a CNA, which is a medical helper, physician's assistants, social workers, occupational therapists, physical therapists are no longer, and there's more, they're no longer, well, I thought they had one thing in common. They were the fields women were in. Now, what does it matter? It matters because if they are declared to be not professional fields, people cannot get financial aid to assist them in getting the education necessary to go into the field. Got it? No financial assistance able for a master's degree in education or physical therapy or physician's assistant. And why does that matter? Reason one, these are fields dominated by women. These are ways women can become financially independent, can become able to support themselves and their families. But number two, I didn't even think about till I saw it this morning on TikTok. And creator, forgive me please for not noting down your name. These fields, every one of them that I named, are mandated reporters of child abuse. You get me? The white male federal government is saying, oh, they're not real fields anymore. Every one of them is mandated to report signs of child abuse. What to say? What to say? White men are the problem. White men, and white men particularly who desire power, money, are the problem. White men who cannot control their urges are the problem. white men who present a face of honesty and rectitude and caring, but who aren't, who are essaying children, are the problem. The secrecy is the problem. God help us all.
Even though this conversation was about white men specifically, of course, there's always that one person that could not wait to drag black men into it, right? With the whataboutism. So she said, I agree, but what about the same rich black men like R. Kelly, Diddy, and Jay-Z? And the creator responded back saying, the rich black men tend to go to prison, unlike the rich white men. Like, yes, we know in every community they are terrible people, but it was just crazy to me how when she went to do her whataboutism, she ran straight to black men. They are Asian men, they are Hispanic men, they are Arabic men, but did I say Arabic men? Arab men. Yes, Arab men is the word. Sorry, guys. But she did not go to none of that. The first group of people she went to is black men. And for me personally, it's very telling because if you ask her, she probably would tell you that she doesn't have any bias against black people. But see how now, when we're talking about crime, the first and only group of people actually that she mentioned in her whataboutism is black people. I saw another spot-on response to her comments that I want to end this video on. This person responded back to her saying, LOL, given our entire human history, what was your point by listing Jay-Z and Diddy? Does that in any way change what the video is saying? Is the whataboutism that keeps you from aligning with humanity? The structure has been set. Attack the structure instead of focusing on, oh, but a small percent of black men are also included. So, who gave them the power to harm? And on that note, I'm going to be bringing this video to a close. Let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are. Thank you for watching. I'll be catching you in the next one.